When you're asleep, they're just getting started. John Romano, Dave Palumbo, After Hours.
Welcome back to After Hours, and thank you for joining us on a new format. It's just going to be John Romano and I for the first 20 minutes so that we can actually speak and have an intelligent conversation, because once the whack pack joins in, it becomes, I get a headache and I can't really get any words in. I know you can't either.
Like I was telling you off the air, we should make a segment of the show. We'll call it the crib or the playpen, and we'll just put them in. You and I will go to have a coffee and just leave them in there alone and just see what happens. You know, we're not going to talk anyway, so what's the point?
No, that's true. That's true. Did you see this past weekend? Hafthor Bjornsson, the Mountain, set the world, I guess you could say world's strongest man deadlift record at 501 kilograms, which is 1,104 pounds, I believe, beating Eddie Hall's record. But maybe we can play the little clip from his Instagram. But more importantly, it seems like there's going to be, there's bad blood between Eddie Hall, who was the former record holder, and the 2017 World's Strongest Man. Hafthor is 2018 World's Strongest Man. So someone put up like over 7 figures for each of these guys. They're going to fight each other in a boxing match. Can you believe this?
Wow. I heard that. I saw the memes on Facebook. Yeah. But you know what's interesting about? Did you see the way they had that thing set up with the big rubber black thing? It looked like a truck tire on either side, or a steamroller or something. But you know what's interesting is that now we have an 1,100 plus squat, we have an 1,100 plus deadlift, and we have an 1,100 plus bench.
Crazy.
So, crazy. And speaking of Jimmy the Bull, it was like 1992 or somewhere around there when he had the balls to get under a fucking 1,000 pounds in the bench press
without any equipment, really, if you think about it.
No equipment. We didn't.
That's why he was so crazy.
I'm looking at the thing. Eric Mosley is this giant dude standing behind him with what do you have? The Barbarians or two bikers or whatever.
Lou Ferrigno wouldn't even spot him. Remember?
All he did was take the bar. He was using a regular Olympic bar with duct tape on either end to hold the plates on. All he did was take the bend out of the bar when he lifted it, and it took. Look how many years. God, didn't get it. Whatever. The fucking guy let it go down. Okay, you can criticize Jimmy the Bull all you want for his form and whatever. But in a fucking single-ply suit in 1992, he climbed under 1,000 pounds.
Yeah. You got to remember the guys that you wear those shirts, the bench shirts that are able to do that much weight. You have to pull the weight down. It doesn't come down on its own. That's how stiff the shirt is. So think about Jimmy's shirt. If he couldn't lift that weight, he would have been decapitated by that, don't you think?
He went up to 700 something pounds in a tank top.
Yeah.
When it was warming up, he didn't put the shirt on till later.
Right.
And what a circus getting him into that shirt with a fucking whole can of baby powder and Jimmy's like this.
Now he's permanently stuck like that. Isn't that funny?
But anyway, that's incredible that now we have all those lifts.
The great thing, though, John, about the deadlift is that it's such a pure lift because either you pull it off the floor or you can't. There's no cheating. There's nothing that's going to help you get that weight off the floor. There's no you're not wearing anything in your hands that is some kind of mechanical device that's going to help you pull the thing off the floor. Either you pull it off the floor or not. Now, the one thing that was criticized was, number one, it's really not a powerlifting world record, John, because they use straps, okay? Because the powerlifters use no straps, so that's an important point to make. And also, Eddie Hall made the point that it really shouldn't be counted even as a world's strongest man record because he didn't do it in competition. He did it in his home gym. They set the whole thing up, and he said the conditions are different, and he's right in a sense. When you do a lift in competition, you don't really get to say, well, all right, I'm ready to go. If you're up next, you're up next. So should it be considered a record, John, or not? I mean, that's the question, and that's the debate that's been going on. I say he lifted off the ground, but I understand what they're saying about not doing it in competition. You can't hit, a home run that's 500 or 600 feet and say that's the longest home run if you did it in batting practice, right?
So why doesn't he just go to a competition?
They can't. That's the whole thing. He was going to, but the COVID, quarantine. So so they set it up in his home gym, and they live streamed at ESPN. It was a big deal. I mean, it was 350,000 people watched it live, including myself. So
holy shit,
it was exciting, and he certainly lifted the weight. But should it be counted as a record because of the fact that there weren't other competitors there? It wasn't a competition.
That's like saying that's like saying, we're going to acquit this guy of murder because the murder weapon was recovered illegally without a search warrant.
Nah, it's not a good analogy. A better analogy is
look, the guy. No, it's a good analogy because A, the guy is still dead, whether or not they freaking found the gun or not, and B, the weight got lifted. Freaking 1,100. The guy lifted 1,100 pounds.
Right.
Well, how can you deny that?
All right, but what if let me give you another example. Track and field. Let's say we set up a race, okay, where we get a guy who's going to break the 100-meter record, okay? Or better yet, let's do that one first, then I'm going to give you another analogy. And you set up the perfect conditions on the perfect track. You do it up at altitude, so there's less, whatever. There's no wind, because they do account for wind. If there's wind, it doesn't count as a world record. And the guy can set himself up, and he's going to sprint, and he breaks the world record alone. Does that count?
Yes.
But it's not done in competition. He didn't do it in a race.
I don't. This is where everybody's going to come down on me. I don't understand why. When you have to break a record only in competition. So if you break the record out of competition, it means you didn't break the record.
I guess maybe because it's all records are meant to be. I don't know. I don't even know what the right answer is. I'm just throwing it out there. Here's another example. What if you set up a 400-meter race? Okay, 400 meters. The guy wants to break the record, the quarter mile, and you have a runner at each corner of the track who's going to sprint just 100 meters, and the guy has to. So in other words, the guy's racing 4 separate guys to make sure that he can run at his maximum speed. Is that cheating? I mean, is that also not a record because he broke it because these guys helped him break it, by pacing him essentially?
I think
he still did it, right? He still ran faster.
He still did it, exactly. My point, it's like breaking the sound barrier. Okay, if you're on an airplane or a car, they've done it in a car now, to break the sound barrier, you hear a sonic boom.
Right.
If it's not in competition, do we not hear the sonic boom? I mean, that's ridiculous. Yeah. The guy lifted the weight.
Yeah.
And the only people that are gonna deny that are the people that are jealous of the victory. So if the guy lifted 1,100 whatever once, he can do it again whenever this stupid virus crap blows over. And obviously he's a lock for it. So the guy who's contesting it wants to hang on to not the world record for a little bit longer. Obviously this guy's going to smash it. So who gives a fuck whether it's now or later?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, now these guys are training for the boxing match, so we might never ever see the record reduplicated because now they got 7 figures hanging over their head as dangling in there. The contract they signed, they're going to fight each other in Vegas. You know that these guys want to both beat each other's ass. The question I have is, you think it will be a legitimate fight where these guys are going to go try to kill each other, or will it be like a staged, like, hey, you know what, we'll give you money, let's put on a show here like WWE?
I sure hope not. I sure hope it's the real deal.
Yeah, me too.
Everything's fake today. There's fake body parts. There's fake competitions. There's
Photoshop
fake
pictures.
Records, there's fake weights. There's fucking fake everything.
Right.
Fake asses. There's you name it. They got a fake for it. So 300. How much do these guys weigh? 300 pounds a piece, right?
Hapthor is over 430 pounds, and Eddie Hall's like 370 or something like that.
So you're going to be able to eat popcorn while you're watching a punch being thrown. So it's.
I mean, they could possibly slim down for the fight. If I were them, I would certainly slim down, wouldn't you?
I would slim down for it, but still, you're going to go into 360 instead of 430. I mean, come on.
But Hapthor is 6'9", so I mean,
they're huge, but they're going to be moving slow. I hope I'm wrong. I would like to see 2 agile big dudes beat the shit out of each other. I would just love to see that. I would love to see that. The fight world has been devoid of a good wicked ass kicking since Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of Mike Tyson, did you see? Maybe you could pull that up, Tyler. Mike Tyson's back in training.
Did you see him throwing those punches?
Yeah, he was hitting that guy with the mitts. I was
the
shocked.
guy with the mitts looked like the guy with
Check
the
his
mitts
Instagram.
was terrified.
Yeah, well, wouldn't you be terrified? I mean, Tyson looks, pretty scary still. I mean, he's a little chubby, but, he's getting back in shape. He said to do some demonstration fights, I don't know if that's... You think he might actually try to go back and win the heavyweight title again?
That is scary.
Do they have a Masters division?
I don't... The way he was throwing those punches, I wouldn't want to get in the ring with him, even if I was 20 years old, man.
Fuck no.
He is so lightning fast. It actually looks like he's gotten faster as he's gotten older.
He's like 50. Now, granted, that's only one clip. I don't know what his endurance level is, but he still looks like he's hitting pretty damn hard, right? How old was Foreman when he won back the title? He was in his he was almost 50, right?
I'd say probably, yeah.
And he was in terrible shape. Tyson
Awful.
will get in much better shape than Foreman was.
I wouldn't rule out Tyson deciding to jump in the ring at some point. I mean, it depends on who's viable.
Right.
If he looks at the current champ and says, "I can beat him," then
Well, if they put up enough money, I'm sure he would do it, right?
that's the other thing. You dangle a few. That would be what, a $20-30 million fight?
Yeah, I mean that might get him right back. That might get him right back in the sway of things. He'll be back to where he was before. He blew all his money, early on in his career.
So it would be a nice shot in the arm for him if he did it.
And it's the feel good story. Everyone wants to see it. You know what I mean? So
it would be Rocky 17?
Yeah.
It would be.
It would be like resurrecting Apollo Creed or something like that, or or Clubber Lang. Get Clubber Lang out of Mr. T out of.
Yeah.
And put him back in the ring as the feel good champion. I don't know. I'm impressed. I have to imagine he's doing it for something. I don't know. There must be some kind of marketing behind it, right? It's like almost like the Levrone comeback, and the Wheeler comeback.
I'm sure he's looking for some way to stay, relevant and earning some money. I mean, he's still Mike Tyson, and if he's broke, which
I don't think he's broke. I think he's doing pretty well for himself. But I don't know his finances. But he appears on a lot of stuff and celebrity stuff. I guarantee he gets paid to do talks and appearances because he's still Mike Tyson. I mean,
why does everybody say he's broke?
Is that what they're saying?
I always hear Tyson's broke. He blew all his money. He only left a $5 tip on a $500 tab.
Oh, really? Recently?
I don't know. Over the years, I've heard this stuff.
Well, he was broke at one point, but then I think he had that one-man show. He had he had some successful things he did. I don't know what his finances are, like I said, but I'm sure he can't make the money that he would make if he ever did go back in the ring. I mean, that's who doesn't want to see Mike Tyson fight one more time,
I told you I met him when he was 12 years old, right?
No, did you really? Where? The Catskills?
In upstate New York. My father was good friends with Cuss, the Amato.
He was? How did your father know him?
They had a mutual friend, this guy named Bob Gross. He owned Appalling Health Manor. It was where people went to fast for a week.
Would your father run the clinic?
My father was a psychiatrist on staff there, but the owner, this guy Bob Gross, he was a Golden Gloves champ in the Bronx or Brooklyn. He was a tough kid.
Yeah.
And he grew up and went to medical school with my father in Rome.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so they always stayed good friends, and then he had a full-on boxing ring with a boxing gym with a ring and all that stuff because he was it's like us would have a weights in the basement, right?
Yeah.
So he had this whole boxing, and he still worked out, and then he was friends with Cuss. Cuss came, I guess, stayed at his place and lost some weight or whatever. So Cuss and him became friends, and they introduced to my father. And Cuss and my father and these three guys would hang out all the time on the weekends, and that's the gym where I actually lifted my first weight because there were weights in the gym. My father used to take me in there on Sunday when Cuss was down there with the boxers because for whatever reason. So
and that was up in the Catskills, right?
Well, no, it wasn't quite in the Catskills. It was in a town called Rhinebeck, which is like north of Poughkeepsie on the same side of the river.
Isn't that near Valentino?
What's that?
Isn't that near where Valentino lives?
North. Yeah. Yeah, north, but still on the same side of the Hudson River.
Yeah.
That Kingston and Woodstock, that's on the other side.
Right.
But like Poughkeepsie and Rhinebeck, that area. That's where it was. Catskills were further north and on the other side of the Hudson.
Gotcha.
But Cuss used to come down on the weekends to see Bob and hang out, see my dad, and they hang out while the guys trained. And I guess a couple of the ring guys they had were from that area, so they split up the driving. And Mike Tyson was one of the guys, and I remember him fighting. He was sparring with some dude and he beat the crap out of him, and he like demoralized him. And Cuss leaned over and told my father, he goes, the worst thing that can happen to a boxer is when you've given absolutely everything to the guy and he still beats the shit out of you.
And the guy was 13 years old, right?
12 or 13, something like that, yeah.
Beating up like grown men.
Yep. But, now look at him. So,
but you know what? Tyson turned out to be, when he first came on the scene, you thought he was just a bully, brutal dummy, right? He happens to be very smart and intelligent. Probably, had he been nurtured, intellectually, he probably would have been very successful anyway, because he happens to be very witty. He's got a photographic memory, the guy. That's how he did the one-man show, he said. He remembered he just memorized the whole thing. And he's got good insights, you know what I mean? Even though he had all his problems, and I imagine if I grew up in a foster home and had to be taken away, who knows how I would have turned out, That's why, you look at Kai Green, it's a miracle he turned out as great as he did too. For every one Kai Green and Mike Tyson, there's thousands and thousands of kids that are dead probably, by the time they hit 20 years old. So it is a miracle. Obviously, he's he's got something special, Tyson. And people like being around the guy. I don't know what it is. He's got some kind of charisma,
That's what Cuss said. What Cuss said, there was, something about him, And the worst thing that happened to Mike Tyson was losing Cuss when he lost him. Too
early, yeah.
It was really, really, really devastating for him. And it took him years. Maybe he not ever recovered from it. It was at the time of his life. He lost Cuss at the absolute worst time he could have lost him.
Yeah.
And that was, his guiding hand. And after that, he just, whether his trainers were Teddy Atlas or Kevin Rooney, they weren't Cuss. Even though those guys were trained by Cuss and they were all in the part of the same family, Cuss was the dad. And Tyson,
he didn't respect those guys. That's what the problem was. Yeah.
Exactly, because they were one of him.
Yeah.
They were all hoodlums. Every one of them. So it was really unfortunate. And who knows? I always say, who knows what Mike Tyson, the paths he would have taken if Cuss had lived another 10 years, and helped him through that. Really
or, he might have just said, I got all this money now, I can do whatever I want. And he might have still, gotten off the deep end. Also Robin Gibbons ruined him too. Psychologically ruined him,
Well, yeah, that add him all up. He's a mess,
Yeah. Well,
but boy, he is a fast motherfucker in the ring.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. I look at him. I'm like, I can't believe this guy is able to do what he can do at his age. Because it just goes to show you what genetics. You can't mess with genetics. They don't lie.
And not only are those punches fast, those uppercuts and the twisting that he does, but you are either born a hitter or you're not. If you can punch hard, there's no training for it. You cannot train someone to hit harder than you can naturally. So,
George Foreman said the same thing. Foreman never lost that knockout punch, and that's why. Remember when he made the comeback? People thought it was a joke when he made a comeback. He was so fat he would never sit down in the corner. When he got into that ring with Michael Moore and beat him. Teddy Atlas was the trainer, actually. And Teddy Atlas was like, yo, you got to stay away from this guy. This guy's got a knockout punch. I know he's not as fast as you, but, you're the champ, but you got to stay. And he didn't listen. And Foreman said, I was just waiting to line up the punch. And he hit him. It didn't even look like anything. And the guy couldn't even get up off the ground. I mean, that's pure genetics,
It's like throwing an anvil at your head.
I don't care if you're 50 or 60. Probably Foreman still has that punch, I bet. Even at 60, whatever he is now. You know?
What I'm saying is you can't, you either have that or you don't.
Right.
There's no training that into a boxer.
No.
And Tyson has it. His punches fucking hurt. So, you know, that's why he was so devastating. Remember him in his prime? He would come out of the ring. He would just run across the ring at the guy and freaking, you know, tag him, boom. And, you know, so many of his fights were over in like a half a second,
right.
you know?
Only the guys that were like brutal warriors like Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis were able to handle Tyson because they knew how to pace themselves and they knew how to take a hit. And, you know, they were veterans in the ring. They understood, you know, what it was to brawl, and they didn't give up. They had the mental fortitude to go against Tyson, and that was the key. If you had a strong mindset, you could beat Tyson if you had the skills, obviously. And a lot of these guys just were scared of him, you know, and he just intimidated the crap out of them.
Oh, gee. That's the whole thing. I think that's half the battle of fighting Tyson is not to be afraid of him.
Right.
It's terrifying. You know?
So.
Probably more so now, you know.
Right. So what do you think is it now? I hear rumors that they're moving the Olympia to December. Is that you hear that?
I didn't hear that. You know, they're gonna the world is in chaos now over just so ridiculous. But you know, I'm sure they'll move it. You know, it only makes sense. The gyms where are these guys working out? I mean, it's not even fair.
I don't even know. But John, you know, Dennis James, when I interviewed him like 2 months ago, or a month ago, made a very good statement. Even if things open up a little bit and you can hold a show, who's sponsoring these shows? How are you going to make money? Why would these promoters even hold these shows if they don't have sponsors? You know.
Well, I know. I mean, thankfully we're making money. I know you're making money, so it's you know, some of us are good. But
we're not making like excessive amounts where you can say, hey, I'm going to give, you know, 30 grand over to the Olympia to sponsor the show. I mean, everyone's running a very tight, you know, ship.
Yep, we are all running a tight ship, and you know the whole idea. I mean, the whole idea of the Olympia. You got to bring the best of the best. I've been looking at people's Instagram posts lately, and I'm seeing a lot of soft people out there. You know, there's definitely a loss of condition in social media land.
I think what the problem is that, you know, some people are like what I would have done. Find a way, find a gym. I mean, I know for a fact that when I was living on Long Island, if they would have had a quarantine, there would have been 10 people who would have called me up and said, you want to come train at my home gym? I know it. I know I would have had a place to train. So I don't understand why these top guys don't have a place. So I think there's two mindsets. The one guy that's like, I'll train with dirt in a tin can if I have to, and I'll lift it. And then there's the other guys that are just like, what's the use? I'm just going to sit home and feel bad for myself, you know?
You got to look at it as, I guess you got to look at it as it's part of the deal. It's overcoming obstacles are part of the deal. I remember when I was with Shelly Beatty and she was getting ready for the 93 Olympia or the Arnold Classic. We had the big fire in Malibu, and we had to evacuate. So we're in the middle of contest prep. It's like 6 weeks out, you know, or whatever. It was close to the whatever show. I think it was the Olympia. You know, we got to bug out of our home, you know, move into a hotel, you know, and everybody else did too. So there weren't a whole bunch of, you know, options available to us. We're cooking on sterno and, you know, microwaves and and you know, she still did really well. You got to do what you got to do. You know, I mean, third place and under those circumstances. Yeah. So, you know, it makes it part of the deal. It makes it part of. It's like I tell my CrossFit clients, we're panicking about getting drug tested. And I tell them, passing the drug test is like working out. It's part of the deal. You gotta learn how to do all of this shit. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So it makes it part of the deal. I think what they're worried about is not the athletes. I think they're worried about securing the venue and what would happen if we get to September and the lunacy is still in place and they're still shutting stuff down. People aren't going to be able to make, you know, are the hotels going to be open? Are the airlines going to be open? Are the restaurants going to be open? These are all, you know, what ifs they got to be wrestling with right now. And we're almost already in June. So, you know, if they're moving it to December, it's in an abundance of caution because way too many things. There's so many moving parts that got to go to this thing, and they need time to you know, establish reservations and commitments, and I don't think they have enough time to do it now based on the current situation.
Well, here's the question: let's say they hold it in in someone's backyard, is it still an Olympia because there's no crowd there? Back to the old world record question, right?
Right. So if you win the Olympia in a private gym, is it not the Olympia?
Right, exactly, because it's not on a big stage.
Right, it's not the Olympia stage, so that doesn't count. Even though it's the Olympia competitors,
right?
Right. It doesn't count.
What if Brandon Curry just says, you know what? Then I have an Olympia. I'm just going to go in my home gym and I'm going to pose on camera live, and I'm going to award myself Mr. Olympia because I'm the reigning champion. I have no one challenging me here. I'm the champ. I won 2 years in a row. Right? No one defeated. There's no one defeat. If no one can challenge him, right? Because there's no show. Doesn't he win it again automatically?
Well,
it's like a team forfeiting. He wins by default.
Well, the top 10 can submit a video to the judges.
No, because you got to compete against each other. I'm saying if they don't have an Olympia this year, I think Brandon Curry should, by default, since he's the reigning champion, be given a second title.
Continue his title until the next Olympia.
Well, just say he's a two-time champ because he had no one to contend against it.
Or he can just say he is still in 2021, or would he still be 2020?
Well, he's a 2-year champ.
He'd be 2020. He'd still be Mr. Olympia.
Right. So he gets 2 years. He gets a free pass on the second year.
Right. He'd be a Mr. Olympia through 2000.
2 times. So he can say he won twice because no one contested him the second time. It's like didn't Arnold do an Olympia, or Sergio did one Olympia and no one showed up? It was just him? One of the years, Sergio had no contestants.
That's true. That's very true. I don't remember what year was that.
I don't remember, but
70-something.
He won a title with no one competing against him. So if no one can show up, then Brandon Curry wins. That's all. He's just got to do a home video and do his Olympia routine. That's all.
You're like the old Jewish man.
Yeah.
In Mexico, I'd be Puerto Vallarta. I'd be walking on the Malecon at night do some cardio, and these drunk old guys would come up to me and do this or go like this, and so I stick my stomach out.
I pose now, John, a lot because I actually can do it now because I have shoulders that are functional.
You move your shoulder.
Yeah, I'm so happy. I go by the mirror. I'm like, I can hit double bicep pose again.
I used to respond to those guys by sticking my stomach out and tripping all over the place. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay to be fat. It would crack me up. It's okay to be fat and drunk, out in public. That gives you the right to make fun of the guy who's fit.
I love these guys these younger guys that do their Instagram lives while they're doing cardio, dripping sweat. I hate watching people fucking doing answering questions, dripping sweat down and answering questions, and then they're making fun of the guys like you and me and Dorian who actually downsized and are just ripped and smaller.
Right.
And they're like, oh, they don't have muscle. These are the guys that when they hit 40, they'll either be dead or they will have had a massive heart attack and they will have found Jesus and they'll be preaching Jesus to everyone online. These are the same guys. They don't understand what happens when you hit 50 and then you're heading towards 60 years old. Because if you don't make accommodations and you don't get ripped and lean and stay in good shape and downsize a little bit, you die. I mean, they don't realize that that's what happens. They think when you're 20, you can do this forever,
Right. Look, you can have muscles. They're just not going to be as big.
That's right.
That's it. You know what? Accepting that at 60 years old, you just got to accept it. You can't do at 50 what you did when you were 20. Right. When you were 20, you were fucking invincible. Yeah. You could jump off buildings when you were 20, and you'd balance and you'd be fine. Now you'd be a bag of dust.
Yeah.
When you hit the ground, it's accepting. And I know you lost 100 pounds more, 130 pounds. I lost 40 pounds. You accepting that when you've been big and ripped, the hardest thing in the freaking world is to be small and old. And it hurts, man. But it's either life or death, really.
I actually feel good though because I can do stuff now, John, that I couldn't do when I was that big. I'm swimming laps in the pool. You know, I can cycle. I can stretch really good. I could play sports with my kids. I could throw a ball overhand now. You know, I could do things I couldn't do. So for me, it doesn't matter because I already proved I could be the biggest guy. And I know that that's not functional in terms of living a long time and being healthy. So you have to adapt, or you go extinct like the dinosaurs. And unfortunately, John, there's too many people in our industry that have gone extinct at way too young of an age, and we know who they are. We don't have to repeat names now, you know.
And most of them are, you know, older than 20. So,
yeah.
You know, it's when you're getting. I always tell people this all the time when they talk about, you know, training and being old and still being strong and big and whatever. And I ask them a simple question: how many 85-year-old, 300-pound dudes do you see walking around?
Zero. Yeah, zero.
They all died in their 50s and 60s.
Right.
You know, so there aren't any. So you have a choice, and this clearly been proven. I mean, if hundreds, if not thousands, of studies.
Yeah.
Smaller and lighter equals longer life expectancy.
Right. And going back to that, the strongman, you know who? One of the head judges at all these World's Strongest Men competitions is Magnus der Magnuson. Remember him?
Yep, Magnus.
15 years ago, he was winning World's Strongest Men. He was enormous. You wouldn't even recognize this guy. He's completely in great shape, normal sized like we are now, and he's alive. A lot of those World's Strongest Men guys are dead. We can name them all, you know.
You know, I think, you know, if you approach this intelligently, and there's plenty of bodybuilders who have exemplified this. Barry DeMay, Lee Labrada, Rich Gaspari. These are all guys that are, you know, in their 50s, well into their 50s, who still can go to the beach with their shirt off. They got abs, they got arms, they got veins, they're just, you know, downsized. You're a perfect example.
Yeah, no.
You know, you have got to downsize. If you want to live a nice, long, healthy, relatively injury-free life, you got to downsize and adapt your training. Some guys, there's no life worth living unless you're 250 and above. And if you think that way, then you're going to die at 250. It's just the way it's going to be.
You remember those strong men from back in the day? Odie Wilson died. Big.
Yep.
John Paul Sigmarsson, remember him? Died.
Yep.
He had a heart attack while deadlifting, I think, in front of his kid or something like that. Someone told me, I think.
Yeah, that was sad.
Yeah. There's Anthony Clark, remember? First 800-pound bench press.
Yep.
Crazy. One of the nicest guys, too. Look at Mr. G. He's still alive. He's over 60. Doing great.
He's another great example.
Surfing every day.
Yep.
Hey, John, that's the whole point is with any sport, bodybuilding or football, after the guys compete, the problem is they don't continue being fit. You know, a lot of guys, you know, look at Ronnie Coleman, you know, and you know, as far as bodybuilding goes, you know, you got to think about beyond your competitive days. What are you going to do?
Ronnie's still very fit. He's just very injured.
Yeah, he just has some orthopedic injuries. You know, that's a different story. I think he's health-wise, he's probably in good shape.
No, he is. And he's still working out.
I would still downsize if I were him. I would get smaller, wouldn't you? I still think he's too big, but that's.
I believe once you hit 50, I don't care how big you were, but once you hit 50, you have got to go the other way. You have to. You just have to. If you want to live a nice long life. If you want to die at 250, you will.
Mr. G sent me this. He hired some guy to do like a cartoon animation for the Mr. Potts Jumbo Palumbo cookie. And John, the guy, it looked like a guy took a picture of me and with a scissor and cut it out, but it wasn't even like a smooth cut. And that's the animation. It's like me, but it's like the Per Bernal picture of me cut out with a scissor, moving.
But it's like Monty Python. We had no. That's the whole point.
Did you do the animation, or did you really have a guy who animated that?
No, I had a guy animated, but it was just the whole point of it was to be as cheeseball as possible.
Oh, I want you to make a cartoon of me, like a caricature.
Dave, look, Dave. It's too long anyway. It's 90 seconds. It's going to be 17 seconds to go on. You know, go on your, for one of the commercials on your show. So I figured let me just use that, throw that out there, and then from there, whatever way you want to make it, we'll make it. I can tell the guy.
Mr. G did like a voice over it, John. He's like, I am the truth. It's like one of those.
What? That's why I didn't want to send it to you. I wanted you just to throw it out.
I liked your voiceover. I just thought that the cartoon was going to be like a real cartoon, not like a So I think you cut that out with a scissor. It looked like,
Come on. Dave,
I should send it. I got to send it to Tyler to put up. You wouldn't believe this thing. I'm going to find it. Hold on.
Dave, hold on, Dave. How about your little body, your little stick body with the big head?
You got yeah. I got no body. I have a stick figure and it's my face cut out.
Everyone will laugh, man.
Mr. G, you know what claymation is?
Yeah.
You should do the cartoon in claymation.
That would be better.
Yeah, that takes each movement is like 30. That's a lot of. I mean.
Yeah, you got to make a lot of little statues, but you remodel the same one.
No, my partner, she's a great. Besides a marketing, she knows how to market stuff. She came up with the whole thing with the tin and the whole thing. I mean, I had the idea, but then she
tell her to draw a caricature of me, George, and then give it to the animator.
Dave, this is just a start. The whole thing is to let it be funny as shit and stupid, Like Monty Python, they didn't have any money, so they didn't have any money to fill in the last like a couple of minutes of their show. So they used to cut stuff out on cardboard and put it on little sticks.
That was in 1970, George.
I know, but
it's 2020 now. We have tools now to make.
Dave, do you remember Lyman Daly?
Yeah, he was great.
The illustrator.
Great.
Do you remember him?
Yeah.
Lyman should create Mrs. Potts and have her be this big, ripped body of Quadra Blue, like Quadra Blue bodybuilder girl. And she's in the cooking with the apron on and she's making cookies. And have him animate this. He'll animate you. He'll animate because he does it all as exaggerated. You know who I mean, Mr. G? Lyman Daly.
He's great.
Yeah, he used to illustrate for Muscular Development. He created a character.
He made that Why Cut Back thing for me. Remember with Bleckman on the truck?
Yeah. He illustrated my cookbook.
Oh, he did?
Well, have you seen Bev Francis's new logo, the Bev Francis World Gym? It's it's a big pumped up alligator with sneakers. They've been selling it for like the last 2 years. They've had that new character.
Does Bobby still do the T-shirts for them?
Yeah, big time. In his gym, he cut out. They have a whole section where they used to do the aerobic room and the posing room is now one big giant clothing store.
Oh, apparel is big now.
Yeah, Jay Cutler, because he's got the deal is now. All the athletes now in every sport can talk to their fans directly. That's what's changing marketing. So, so literally, Jay Cutler can take a pen. It has nothing to do with bodybuilding, and say this is a great pen, and people will buy it. I mean, that's what's changed.
You got to get him to hold up one of those tins like Gregg Valentino and say these cookies are good.
We don't. He's got Jumbo Palumbo and John Romano to do it. That's way more valuable.
I know, way more valuable.
Where's John's tin? I know you had asked me for his address. I thought you had it.
I did. I shipped it out last night.
Oh,
he asked me for all white chocolate.
I got the notification. It's on the way.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I want you to design a cookie for me, my version, which is white chocolate with no macadamia nuts.
He does have one with no. He does have one like that.
John, you got no macadamia.
White chocolate, coconut, and caramel.
I would have put. I put. So anyway, your cookies have white chocolate, and I asked you if you like dark chocolate espresso beans.
Yeah.
So there's 4 different kind.
Wow.
See, and then on the back the ingredients has a question mark.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm a little skeptical on the nutrient breakdown there. I have a feeling Mr. G's winging that one.
No, where it says nutrient breakdown or it says calories, it should be in parentheses. You don't want to know.
Yeah, right. All I know is my daughter ate like half one of those cookies. I don't know how she did it. She's only 35 pounds, you know.
How did she do that?
I don't know.
She must have shit like a gorilla after that.
And John, in one of yours, there is. I wrote on its secret ingredient. I put something in there that you're gonna have.
He put sativa in there. Yeah. Yeah. Can you make Jumbo Palumbo pot, or you should make John Romano pot cookies?
Yeah.
You know.
That should be mine. Pot cookies.
I'm not gonna put. I mean, that's one thing.
It's legal now. You can sell it to a couple states.
But I'm not into the whole pot thing. So
everyone's saying how healthy it is.
But I am.
Yeah, but John, that's right. You want John's crew. You want people who follow John to buy the stuff. You got the Jumbo Palumbo crowd already. Now you got to get the Romano crowd.
Yeah, you got to put a big pot leaf in the back.
Put a big pot leaf, exactly.
my partner would never go for that.
Yeah, you can't. You probably need a license anyway to do that. All right, you got the commercial?
I'm working on it.
Oh, okay. He's working on it. You got to see this commercial, John. I don't even know if you'll be able to see it, but
I'm not going to be able to see it.
You'll be able to hear it.
I wasn't going to send it to you until the show started, and I was going to tell you, listen, just put it up there.
I'm putting it up. You guys, John will have to watch it later, but the audience is going to get to see it.
Can I at least hear it?
You'll hear it, yeah. You'll hear it.
Here it goes.
All right, here we go.
Lee here. I don't.
Start it again.
Like I said, Commissioner Lee here. I don't know how he got huge, but we need Jumbo now to crush the evil giant.
The Adventures of Jumbo!
I destroy everything.
Fear not. I will save humanity. I gotta get huge.
I am the protein cookie god. Here, this'll make you huge. A Jumbo protein cookie. Thank you, Jumbo. Tune in next time for another amazing adventure of Jumbo. Till then, you can get huge with a Jumbo protein cookie. Order now at www.mrpotsprotein.net. Comes in 4 flavors, 50 grams of species, whey protein, and 1,500 calories.
Jumbo says, smash 'em and get huge!
With that freaking nursery music in the background.
It's so embarrassing that it's actually pretty funny that when watching it the second time, I actually liked it better.
Really, really bad.
John, when you see the animations, you're going to fucking shit your pants. Who did the monster? The monster was good. How come we couldn't do a character like me, like the monster?
Clip party downloaded.
But what's priceless is Tyler in the background saying, "This is fucking horrible."
So bad.
Mr. G, you are so pleasantly insane. I mean, you are the most lovable, crazy person I have ever met in my entire life. Really.
Hey, we just trying to have fun, right? And I'm trying to really.
And you do. and you
It's
we
such
have
a
fun with you.
It's such a breath of fresh air, isn't it, to have Mr. G on the
Right?
show? That the creativity level is raised to a whole new level when we have him on.
What I'm trying to do is actually, I'm doing it for all the people who watch the show. I mean, I'm trying to entertain them.
You just sold 100 cookies right there with that commercial, George.
Right there.
Believe me. You'll have so many orders tomorrow morning, you won't know what to do with them.
Dave, I got the Jumbo lights already designed.
I'm waiting for them to get to test market them for you.
Well, I have it. It's just I'm so inundated. Right now I'm at the. I'm going to show you where I'm at. Are we on the show?
Yeah. We've been recording this whole time, Mr. G.
Wait, we're on RxMuscle. We're on.
This is live, Mr. G. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh.
John and I decided to start early and just let you guys join in as we're doing this because we can't get a word in edgewise otherwise.
Oh, you know what? Last time I know that because I couldn't hear from the beach. right? Because when you said we don't need to be here,
Yeah.
and then you asked me a question, and I didn't even answer the question. I just started talking about whatever I wanted to talk about, and I saw the look on your face, like because this is what I hear. This is what I hear at the beach.
Yeah, we heard the same thing, George. Yeah.
I couldn't hear a word.
We couldn't hear a word either. Don't worry about
Hey,
it.
look where I am. I'm at my chocolate factory. You want to see the chocolate factory?
Yeah, show us around.
Yeah, let's see it.
I can't go inside because they're doing inventory right now. But here's the people. Here's the people because I like to use
Right on.
everything local. All right. You see that chocolate bells?
Is that your place?
You see that?
Yeah.
These are the people who make all my chocolate.
Oh, okay. So you don't own that place though.
No, I'm not. No, we're gonna. No, my whole idea is to use local people, who already been. She's been doing it 39 years.
Yeah. When you walk in there, does she put does she spray you with fumigate you or something like that? Do they get nervous? Because I noticed you don't have a mask on.
I'm outside.
Oh, but when you do wear a mask?
Inside, yeah. Look, let's see what it says inside. You gotta be one person at a time. See?
Yeah, that's smart.
See that?
Okay. I'm just making sure that you're sticking to protocol. That's all.
Yeah. That's why I couldn't. Like last week, I said I was gonna go from the gym, pure focus.
Yeah.
But I can't. But I realized I can't. We can't because even if he shows us just talking from his gym, they're gonna think that he's open.
Right.
They closed down a gym, one of those 24-hour gyms in our town. They put all paper up on their place, and they were still training people. And they came and gave them tickets and stuff. It's crazy, right?
Where's Valentino? I know he's been trying to call in. We have Tyler. We have him come calling in at all?
I just saw him notification.
Oh.
Oh, here. So Dave, next week I'll have the Jumbo lights for you. But
Yeah.
look at it. I'm always working on all new stuff. Look at this in the back of my trunk. I'm going to show you something.
This is where his inventory is being stored, John.
Yes.
Because I'm all about snacks, right?
Thank God it's cold there.
You see this thing? You see that?
No, what is it?
Don't you see a Big 10?
Yeah, what's in
Yeah,
it?
Big
You're not showing us a good view of it. We're missing
All
it.
right. Hold on, let me show you. I'll show you the inside.
Okay, we're not seeing anything. We're just seeing your face.
All right. Hold on. Can you see that right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Big 10. What's in
Yeah,
it?
Big 10. Guess what that is?
That's going to be the jumbo lights in there?
No, it's going to be jumbo corn. Popcorn. Look.
Oh, wow. I love popcorn.
I don't think I'm on.
Yeah, look at that. Big, see that Big 10?
Yeah?
Look at it. We're going to have, I got a flavor more, sriracha honey, jalapeno, honey barbecue, sour cream and onion. That's after we do the cookies.
I think when you put too much stuff on popcorn, it ruins it. I think less is better with popcorn.
You're right.
Don't over-season it. Put your Mr. Potts protein powder on there. You know, the spray, the protein seasoning on there.
Hey, can you guys
yeah.
hear me?
That's what's in here. Look.
Yes, Greg.
I got that inside the tin.
Greg, we're getting a little sneak peek of the next generation of Mr. Potts foods, snacks that are going to be released.
That's my boy, Big Mr. G. What are you doing?
What's up,
I know
Greg?
we've been texting back and forth some good stuff.
Oh, good. How's your throat, Greg?
What's that?
How's your throat feeling?
It's doing a little bit better, but it's still bad. You know what I mean? It's swollen and I got like scar tissue in there. Believe it or not.
Is it healing now? Is it healed?
No, she told me it's going to be 6 months to a year till it's totally healed. Like sometimes my throat shrinks, and it's like I talk like I'm on helium.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or it comes out my nose like that.
Really?
You know? Yeah, I'm doing. I don't have trouble. It's not the swallowing. It's the talking and just being normal.
Maybe you can, Mr. G. Maybe you can hire Greg to do some of the voiceovers on that commercial because seems like he's got a better range of speaking.
I did all the voiceovers.
I figured you did. Yeah, I heard your voice. Yeah.
Each guy, except the other voice is an Indian guy from India.
You know, Mr. G, I have an idea. Why don't we have a contest? Tyler, you can enter it if you want. Create the best Jumbo Palumbo Mr. Potts cookie commercial. It's got to be 25 seconds, 30 seconds, and you put it out there, and whoever wins, you give them some kind of a prize, and then you can use the commercial.
Yeah, what's the prize?
I had another. That's funny you say that. I had an idea about a contest because you asked me to sponsor.
Put up like $5,000 or something like that, even $1,000 for the best commercial, Jumbo Palumbo commercial, and you can enter as many times as you want. You're just going to have to sit there and watch all the commercials. And John and I want to have final vote on the top 10 that you pick out.
And they get free cookies for a year.
Yes.
Hey, I got an idea.
But Tyler said $5,000 would really seal the deal for him. He'd spend a lot of time on it. He said for $5,000.
Dave, how about you have a commercial and I'll talk all over the whole commercial and the fucking little snowflakes that watch this shit that complain you took over people. Give it to Valentino. He doesn't stop talking over people.
Look, I think this is great. There's a lot of animators out there and people who are just, novice people like to make their own stuff. There's a lot of creative guys out there. I've seen some of the stupid stuff they put up there. If they could spend their time actually trying to win some money, maybe Mr. G put up some cash. That'll be your sponsorship, and you get a commercial out of it. I mean, it's great marketing for you. And you know what you do?
That's a great idea. I actually had another idea, but my other idea was your best Jimmy the Bull impersonation.
No, I don't want to see the Jimmy the Bull. I want to see a commercial. I think that's creative. It lets people sit down and actually do something creative. They can Dropbox it to you or whatever, give them an email, and then we'll all vote on the top 10 commercials, and we can even put up the top 10 if they're really that good, and then the best one is the one you use. That's all, and they get the grand prize.
Who's going to vote? Shouldn't we let the fans get
No.
That's a nightmare.
The American public is not smart enough to do this stuff.
Hold on, Dave.
John and I have to do it.
They collectively count as one vote.
No.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. John needs to vote. I need to vote. You need to vote. Jimmy the Bull, Greg, all the people who are on the show. We're the judges.
All right. How long you want to make? 8 weeks?
You have to earn the wax pack seal of approval.
Yeah.
So 8 weeks? Yeah. 8
no,
weeks
you give him a month. John, you give him a month. 1 month.
One month.
$500 cash prize and a year.
Hold on, wait. We got to get to $500. You got to give at least $1,000 away.
All right, $1,000.
I'm not taking any royalties, so we'll sell plenty of cookies. You'll be able to afford it. Don't worry about it.
Dave,
you'll make it back the first
I'm
day.
not worried. I don't care about the money. Know that. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's about giving back to the people who watch us. I mean, without them, we wouldn't even have a show. All right, so $1,000, a free year of our cookies.
Right, and if you make the top 10, you get a nice little care package of cookies from you, just for measure. Plus, we play the top 10 commercials on the air.
And Fiberwise. You got to get Fiberwise.
Top 10 get cookies.
We might maybe we'll make a whole show, but we'll play the commercial and then we'll judge at the end who the top. We'll place everyone at the very end of the show.
But Dave, don't you think with a year's supply of cookies, they ought to get some Fiberwise too?
Yeah, you're probably right. Or they'll probably get colon cancer otherwise. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good.
Maybe you should George. Can you make a fiber cookie for me?
Yes, I could put the fiber. In fact, in John's cookie, John has something in his cookie, and he's gonna have to guess next week because he's gonna get it tomorrow, and he's gonna have to guess what's in the one secret ingredient.
All right.
I don't think he'll be able to guess, but if he doesn't guess, I'll tell you what it is.
It's not gonna make me sick, is it?
No, I would never do that. No.
All right. Well, that's the deal. So it's $1,000. What do you think? 20-second commercial, Tyler? Is that about right?
Yeah,
20-second commercial. You got a month to turn it in.
Yes.
June 1st, it's due.
June 1st.
You can send it in before that. You know what? Send it to me because Mr. G will lose them. Send it to my huge285@AOL.com email. You can Dropbox it to me. However you want to get it to me, that's fine. I'll collect all the commercials. Then we'll go over them. We'll pick the top 10. We'll play them on the air. We'll vote. The winner gets the $1,000 cash from Mr. G plus a year's supply of Mr. Potts cookies. And then the top 10 will the other 9 people get care packages. That's going to be the deal. And whoever wins, actually maybe even the top 3, we might use their commercials on the show. for Mr. G to promote
Yeah,
his
I
brand.
definitely think the top 3 should get. We should use every commercial once.
Okay.
Because so everybody gets their airtime.
Right.
And then the top three will rotate.
Okay, that's good.
All right.
Here's a great. You're all sitting home doing nothing, bored out of your mind. Here you go. For all you creative guys now, create a Mr. Potts Jumbo Palumbo cookie commercial that's going to make people laugh. It's going to make them want to buy the cookies. It's going to be something compelling and creative because we have a bunch of very weird creative minds here, so we have to like the commercial. So
Yeah.
and don't cut my picture out of a magazine and use it like Mr. G did. It's already been done.
It's already been done.
Yeah.
Original,
something to the phone.
fresh original content only.
Hey, but anybody could do it. It doesn't have to be. I mean, just anyone out there. Have a camera, come up with something in your idea out of your head. Doesn't matter what it is, and put it up there. You never know. You don't know what we're gonna like. Go look at the old Monty Python stuff.
So what's the limit? 20 seconds?
20 seconds. 20 seconds.
20 seconds, because it can't be longer than that to go into the into all the other content.
All right, so that's their rules. 20 seconds, sell the cookie, and we're gonna pick the top 10.
Hey, Greg.
Everybody gets
Hey,
to see
Greg.
it
We are
once.
doing a TV show here. I got a question for you.
Yeah,
What
I'm
is
trying
Greg
to.
doing?
I don't know what happened. The phone flipped.
Oh,
Here.
okay.
Do that.
On Heavy Muscle Radio, Chris Aceto and I talked about Mike Francois this past week. Do you remember Mike?
Of course I do. Yes, I know him very. Yeah, I know.
Did he ever? Yeah, of course you know him very well.
I don't want to say that anymore because these guys get so offended. You know everybody. You were there when they landed on the moon. You fucking babies. Meanwhile, I've been in the sport, since the 70s and shit. Early 70s. 72, I started working out. 76, I stepped on stage. But whatever. Go ahead.
What was the first women bodybuilder you ever saw? Do you remember that?
Yes, Lisa Lyons.
And tell the people how big she was back then when people thought she was big.
She wasn't big at all. She was built nice, like girls should be built. Almost like what a figure girl today or bikini girl.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I thought she was sexy as hell. She would walk in the gym and she would wear these little shorts and she was like a little slutty, you know what I mean? But you could see her laying down you could see her fucking vagina and shit like that when she lay on a bench. And the fucking, I'm having trouble talking, it's coming out my nose. And the Barbarian brothers would make jokes and shit, like, look at little Tweety, like that, because they could see her pussy. But I gotta be honest with you, she was sexy.
They wore shorty shorts, remember, Greg? All the girls wore the shorts.
Even guys.
Yeah.
Remember back in the 70s, we wore tight shorts and shit.
Right. Gym shorts.
Dave, what was the first female bodybuilder you ever saw in person?
Unfortunately, although she became a good friend of mine, it was Nicole Bass, unfortunately. But yeah.
Oh, that's who I saw for the first time.
I couldn't believe she was in my show. I thought she was a pro. I didn't know anything about this. It was the beginning of my career in the early 90s. And I go to show up, and she's there, and I'm like, is she the guest poser? No, she's competing. She hadn't gotten her pro card yet. I was like,
I want to talk over Dave. John, what about you?
Tegan Clive.
Oh, shit. I seen Tegan Clive.
Remember
she
that
was
name?
Jacked. Yeah, she was jacked.
And
Lisa Lyons wasn't that jacked.
She used to be a bodyguard to David Lee Roth with Kay Baxter, who passed away.
Yes.
wow. Yeah.
David Lee Roth had 2 female bodybuilders for bodyguards.
Good for him.
In what, the 80s?
Yes,
That's great.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was a great video. The old Beach Boy song.
Yes, I was there. I'm kidding.
Girl.
Yeah, Tegan was in that video. Remember California Girls?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I actually dated her at one point.
You did?
You did?
Yeah.
That's funny. Compared to the girls today, how big was she?
What's that?
Compared to the women today, the bodybuilders today, is she same size or smaller?
Tegan was a big girl, man. She was jacked.
Yeah.
She was a big girl. She was tall too. But,
Yeah, she was tall.
She was tall, but she was built, man. When she got in shape, she was beautiful. She had a really pretty physique. for the time. You know, if you like big muscle.
Which female bodybuilder in person at Gold's Gym was the most impressive? Would you say?
Who are you asking?
Either any one of you.
For me, Rachel Mcleish. She was really good in person. She was very cute. She was. I mean, I'm talking about Gold's Gym back in like '81.
I'm talking about in general. The most impressive. Like you walk in, you're like, holy mackerel. You know.
You know who it was? Laura Vukov.
Oh, she was big. Yeah, I remember seeing her at Bob Bottom's.
But not only was she big, but she'd come into the gym and she'd be wearing shredded fishnets, ripped spandex, tits sticking out, a big fucking wig on, and she'd be dancing, you know, while she was training and like wiggling shit. She was an absolute freaking 3-ring circus on 2 feet.
You know who else?
Couldn't beat her.
John, do you remember this one? I used to talk to her all the time in the gym. Pillow,
yeah. She moved to Alaska and was a stripper in Alaska.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Pillow. Why was she called Pillow?
I don't know. That was her name.
Oh.
Her show was a stripper name. Pillow.
Yeah, but that's... you guys laugh, but she competed. She worked under that name. Am I right or wrong, John?
Yeah.
See, these fucking guys that watch this, they don't know. John and I were back in the 80s, early 80s.
That's why I'm asking you guys from the gym.
Yeah, dude. These girls that don't even exist anymore. You guys have never seen them. I saw, you know the girl that's in Pumping Iron sitting on Schwarzenegger's shoulders?
Right.
She was an old lady when I saw her. The one that had no shirt on, not in the movie Pumping Iron, in the book. I seen her in the gym.
Wow. That's where they probably got her from the gym.
The one that wore no top, sitting on Arnold's shoulders with no top on in a book, Pumping Iron. I don't know why I'm having trouble.
You know who had the hottest body of all of them at that time? My pick, Greg, Janice Reagan.
Janice Reagan was very hot. Yeah.
Her body, her ass was like a freaking,
like a 10-year-old
boy.
That's Greg's favorite expression. Yeah.
Like a 10-year-old boy.
like a rock, though. I mean, and she was just. Remember her? She was like ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who impressed me. You get ready? This is after when I came back into the sport. You know, after I didn't compete for like 15 years, and I was in the Gold's Gym in Farmingdale. Colette Nelson. Because I swear to God, I was like, what the heck is that? A blonde hit, a girl with these big giant muscles, and she had those breasts,
My ex, yeah, my ex.
No, then I wound up going, hooking back up with you, and we started competing, and then she turned out, at the time you were dating her, but she was super impressed. I was like, oh my, what is? I couldn't stop staring because I was like, what? Who is that?
She loved all that attention too. Yeah.
But see, that's old. That's like much later. When I think of it, like
I
when you
know
ask me
that,
about the originals, I'm thinking about like John and I.
What about like
Regan,
what's her name? Denise Rakowski and Sandy Riddell. Were those girls impressive in the gym?
I know Denise very well. Very impressive. What a nice girl she was.
Denise was impressive. A funny story about Mike Matarazzo and Sandy Riddell. The producer of American Gladiators, or one of the talent producers, I became friends with during Gladiators, and he used to live in an apartment right underneath Mike Matarazzo and Sandy Riddell.
Oh boy!
This guy is completely removed from body. He knows nothing about bodybuilding. Okay, so he used to say these two bodybuilders. This is exactly what he said. These two bodybuilders lived above me, and they were always fighting, and you'd hear shit crashing on the floors and stuff breaking, and these two guys yelling at each other, and I'm like, wait a minute, they're not two guys, it's Sandy and Mike. He goes, no, there's two guys up there. And I go, what the fuck are you talking about? It's Sandy and Mike. And he goes, well, then it must be two gay guys.
Dude, Dude, she used to fight him back like a guy. She would throw farts in the gym. And he got all upset. And she was crazy. She was a firefighter. That's what she did for a living.
She had a very deep voice. That's why. That's why this guy Brian thought it was.
She was second at the Miss Olympia that year to Corey Everson.
Yeah.
But yeah, I heard they used to fight a lot too. That's what my friend told me as well.
John, I got a good one, John. Do you remember Michel'le Santos?
Oh yeah, Michel'le Santos.
Beautiful girl. What a nice girl too.
Did she die?
Yes.
Yes.
You know what she died of? This is what I heard. I don't know if it's 100% true. Wow. I'm on my girlfriend's phone, so that's why it's all like this. I think she died of AIDS. I'm not sure. Because I heard she was dating that guy, Franco Mele. Remember Franco?
Yeah.
He looked like Franco Mele. He was a bodybuilder from Italy. And he was a male escort. And I think that she died of AIDS.
Oh, wow.
I don't know that for sure, guys. I could be wrong.
I heard that too. I don't know from where, but I did hear that.
Dude, I knew both of them. I knew Franco Mele and I knew her. She was such a good-looking girl. I loved that long curly hair on her. She was a really good-looking girl. She was very sexy. Remember, what about Lupita Lugo? Remember her?
Here's a name for you. How about Hani Van Aken?
I remember Hani Van Aken.
Oh, man.
Hani Van Aken and Reggie Bennett were big, strong girls training at gym. They were freaking strong. Remember that weight they lifted? I saw
big girls.
What's her name? She did a incline. Hani Van Aken did an incline bench with 315 for like 6 reps.
Wow.
With
wait a minute. I got
Arnie List, Carl List was spotting her.
Oh shit. Whoops. Shit. Am I still there?
Arnie's brother.
You're very annoying with that phone. I almost don't want to even see you. I just want to hear you. Can you stop moving it around?
Give me the bull, not you.
I'm holding it. You know what? I spotted fuck.
Hani Van Aken.
Lucia, what's my friend's name? I got Alzheimer's.
She's not even listening to the conversation you're asking her to.
She's not. No, what? The lawyer, the one that you're a lawyer. Oh, I spotted. I can't believe I forgot her name. It's my friend, Heather Darling.
Oh, Heather's huge, yeah.
Dude, she benched 500.
Wow.
Yeah.
500.
Yeah, she's very strong. I love Heather. Heather's an awesome girl too.
Yeah, she's a good girl. But you know,
those girls were big time athletes. That's what it was too. The girls that were that strong, they were decathlons, triathlon. I mean, they were big time in sports and stuff.
Yeah.
That's why they were so strong.
Rice? She was cute. Remember Lori Bowen Rice?
Yeah.
Lori Bowen,
Lori Bowen from Texas.
Yeah.
She was a cutie.
And Gladys Porches.
Well, that's my girl, Gladys. You know. Yeah.
Did she marry Clam Dam?
Clam Dam? She married Van Dam, yeah.
I mean.
I think they're back together, aren't they? You know that, right? You know this together, right?
What's that?
They're back together, you know.
Those girls were like
Van Dam. Claude Van Dam stole Gladys from Brian Moss, right? Better Bodies?
Brian Moss is one of my good friends.
Yeah, I love Brian.
Gladys from way back.
Better Bodies.
He was dating Gladys. Didn't Van Dam come in and steal her away?
Yes. What happened was they did a photo shoot in like Hawaii or something.
Yeah.
And she was with Brian Moss, who made her. Brian Moss made her. That was her boyfriend. Brian Moss is one of my best friends. I love Brian. Yep. And I know Gladys fucking from back then. Sorry, guys. Sorry for you internet guys. You know everybody. You were there. But anyway, yeah, I know Gladys. She was she was probably one of the best looking girls I've ever seen in person. And when you see her, but she did a photo shoot with Van Dam, some fucking thing on the beach, and they fell in love. And she came back home and told fucking Brian, "I'm out of here, man. I gotta, that was it."
Wow, and they have kids together too, right?
Yeah, not her and Brian. Her and
Van Dam. Yeah.
You ever see their kids? The daughter's gorgeous.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she does all that shit just like Van Dam, like splits, throws kicks in the air and shit.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But he's been with her. He left her, then came back to her.
Yeah.
Wasn't Tuxedo his bodyguard?
Yes, Chuck Zito knocked him out. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that was at what was that at?
Scores.
Yeah.
Strip club. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I hate to say this and get you guys all up. Not you guys, but the guys on the internet. I'm sorry to piss you off, but I know Chuck Zito too. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, we know. No, we know Chuck. We've interviewed Chuck plenty of times.
We had Chuck.
Yeah, we all know Chuck. Fuck everybody in this industry. Chuck's been around.
Chuck is one of the. If he's your friend,
he was gonna fight Kimbo. He wanted to fight Kimbo Slice. I remember. He wanted to be the oldest guy to come back in the ring and fight.
Chuck Zito's one of the nicest guys if you know him and he's friends with you, but you don't want to be on his bad side because he's one tough guy, you know.
No, he's like the New York Hell's Angels. You got to be tough.
That's right. And even if you got lucky and you closed your eyes and you threw a shot and knocked him out, you'd be fucking dead. You'd be dead. You'd rather get it beaten than you know what I mean? You'd be better off getting it beaten.
Yeah, hitting him killed you. That's how tough you were.
Yeah. Yes. Good analogy.
You hit him,
John.
you died.
Good analogy.
Well, I love reminiscing with you guys. You know, our fans really tell me all the time they love these reminiscing shows because it's like a flashback to their childhood. And then for the people who don't even know about it, it's kind of like gives them the history of the sport that they didn't even know. There was a deep history of bodybuilding in both, not only in Venice, but in New York City, which is where Brian Moss had Better Bodies, which turned into 19th Street Gym, and it's something else now. But, you know, Brian really started that whole subculture of bodybuilding in New York City. That was his. Didn't they used to do like entertainment, like almost like Broadway shows and stuff like that? They would go around entertaining people.
Yeah.
Sorry that I was there. It's true.
And was Nicole's husband.
Who?
Bob
Hughes.
He used to walk around. I remember I saw him in '84 at a bodybuilding contest here in New York. He'd walk around with a big photograph book, album book of all pictures of Nicole with all celebrities. Here's one of them with Arnold. Here's one of them with this.
He did. He used to do that.
Yeah. He'd have he opened it up to be
he was very proud of his wife, you know.
Yeah.
As dysfunctional as that relationship was, it worked. You know, you would look at the two of them, they were like two oddballs, but they really did love each other. They were, I mean, she was with him till he died at the very end. I mean, they were always together. I mean,
those big bodybuilding girls don't like, but they date guys that aren't even in the sport.
No, but Bob was in the sport. He knew what was going on. He's the one who got her into the sport.
They owned the gym.
Yeah, he got her into the sport. But the thing was they actually got along. It worked, that relationship.
She never got over his death. She was never the same. She was never ever the same. And I want to say something. I'm good friends with Brian Moss. He used to hang out with Blondie, Greg. What's that guy that died there? The fucking dancer, Greg, the black guy.
Gregory
Hines.
Gregory Hines. All of them. David Lee Roth. I met David Lee Roth through him. I'm telling you, he hung out with everybody.
They were at the Miss Olympia. I remember them at the Miss Olympia when Wayne DeMille at the Belt Forum. And I'm going to say in '87.
Yeah.
1987. It was packed.
Yeah.
It was completely packed at Miss Olympia.
Only the Miss Olympia. Nothing else. Just the Miss Olympia.
Right. That's right.
Right.
That's it. Bob Bonham ran the Miss Olympia. I used to run it just the Miss Olympia. I used to work backstage and shit.
That one year they ran it.
Hey.
Yeah.
Greg, how is Bob anyway?
He's doing good. He's down in Florida. You know, he's retired. Bob's almost 70, 69.
Wow.
I love your ringer for him. Because he can't hear. So what does the ring say? It says what? What? Because
me and him, you gotta hear me and him on the phone. That's all we do when we talk. What?
That's how you know you're getting old, when you can't hear each other anymore.
Well, because Bob,
you haven't been able to hear for years though, you know.
Bob had a hearing aid.
He gave me the best job one year. One year, I forgot what year it was. It was the year that what's her name died. Fuck. The one that stayed at Tommy Marinelli's house. I forgot.
Debbie Dobbins.
Debbie Dobbins.
Thank you, Debbie Dobbins. She went upstairs and he ran out. But anyway, fucking, he gave me a job that year. I sat and they were doing all the girls were doing this big fucking expo, and I had to sit in the room, and they were all getting undressed, and they would walk around naked with no tops on. Every one of those girls. You know what I'm saying?
Were you getting a boner?
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. They would stand there and talk to you with stark naked, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, do you know where so and so is?" And I'd be sitting there like this. Like
little they know you were the most lecherous little sex fiend there. Yeah.
Hey, remember the movie Revenge of the Nerds where the fucking guy goes, "Oh, half high," and he's looking around like that, like the fucking. I was sitting there like, "Oh my God, half high."
Greg,
what was the bodybuilder
in defense of Tommy Marinelli, Greg? He ran out carrying a burning Christmas tree. Don't forget that part.
He did?
John Ritter.
The Christmas tree caught on fire, and she panicked and ran upstairs to the attic or wherever, and he literally grabbed the burning fucking third-degree burns all over his arm. He grabbed the burning Christmas tree and dragged it out of the house. But the house was already on fire. It was too late.
Because he thought
he actually went up there and he got her. He carried her out of the house.
Ugh, what a terrible.
Yeah, but he thought that the Christmas tree caused the fire. So he was trying to get the source of the fire out of the house, but it was too late. She ran upstairs. The smoke goes up, and she died.
Yep.
Terrible tragedy.
Yeah, that was really sad, boy. That set us all back quite a bit. Remember that?
Tommy was a great guy. He's a great guy too. I haven't seen him.
Never got over that. I don't think Tommy ever got over that completely either.
What a good guy though. I love him, man.
I love Tommy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I know him. He's a good guy. I didn't mean any disrespect, but I couldn't. I don't know why, man. Today I'm shot. I got my throat's fucking humming and shit.
Hey, Greg. How about the girl? Greg, how about the girl in the movie with John Ritter, the bodybuilding girl? What was that movie?
Ray Holland.
That was Ray Holland.
Oh, Ray Holland. Oh fuck.
Ray's
a good girl. She's a good kid, man.
I love her too. Yeah, I get along really well with her too.
She's a really good girl.
Ray's
a nice girl. I know Ray. She's a good.
She's from Pennsylvania.
I know Ray very well.
She had some hammers on her though. She had some guns, bro. For a girl in that era back then.
She was a natural. She was the epitome of the natural California beach blonde.
Oh yeah,
with muscles. She was absolutely perfect.
And she was pretty too.
Yeah, she was pretty. She was Zap on the American Gladiators.
Yeah. She was in Playboy too, wasn't she?
Yeah, she
did a great layout in there. What a great layout that was.
She was a great girl. Great girl.
The muscle just looked like it belonged in her body. You know what I mean? It flowed well. It's the best I could say. She wasn't like crazy ripped, but she wore the muscle really well on her body.
You know what, Dave? Well. You would probably know better than I do, but I think she was drug-free. I could be wrong. I don't know.
I don't know. She might have been. She looked completely feminine every time I saw her.
Well, but even her muscles.
Greg, back then the girls were doing like Anavar and Prima Ball, and they weren't geezing a gram of test a week. It was, they did mild shit.
Yeah.
Well, John, I agree with you, because if you look at the girls back then, even up close, their faces, when you saw them in the gym, they were good looking. A lot of these girls, I'm telling you, you go backstage, even the bikini girls that look great in photos, when you see them up close, they're not really that, their faces are not really what you think they
got bad skin, too, from taking weight control.
Yeah. Well, because what it is, a lot of these girls today, I think they're taking Anavar, they're really taking Dianabol. I know this because I sell those Roy test kits, and I know these girls that I work with, I make them all test this stuff, and at least 50% of them tell me the stuff is fake, and it comes back as D-ball. So you got to be really careful.
Well, oxandrolone's expensive. The raw material is expensive.
Yeah.
It's just like Deca. They're not really taking Deca. They're taking test Cypionate or one of the tests.
Or Pro probably, yeah.
Hey, we had the first bikini contest, don't you remember? We saw the whole thing with Kaspari sponsored. Remember at the 08 Arnold?
Yeah.
When we had Triple H.
Yeah.
Who won? There's a better question.
It should be just girls in bikinis, right?
Who won, Mr. G? Do you remember?
We did do that.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was great.
Who won? I don't remember who won the contest.
Wasn't it Elise Firestone?
I don't know. Was it?
Oh, she won?
I thought it was Elise Firestone was in it.
I thought you were going to say Elise Fleckman.
It's too long ago.
I thought you were going to say Elise Fleckman, John.
That was Greg.
Elise Fleckman won the first bikini
Yeah,
contest.
you remember that? Oh shit,
Greg.
George.
Oh, Greg, you.
She sat on my lap and I started getting wood.
We had there was no bull. They were all dressed up in little bull outfits.
Oh,
right.
I remember, but she sat on my lap and
that
started getting wood.
You get wood from if a guy sits in your lap, Greg.
What's that?
I said you get wood if a guy sits in your lap.
No, man, she was fucking cute. Oh my God, she was so...
We had more people at our booth than the main stage at the Arnold. We had thousands of people, right?
Yeah.
And everyone went over there. We had Robinowski, the football player, right?
That's right.
Came over. Jose Canseco, Triple H, right? Grandmaster Flash. You know, they all just wanted to come over there. They didn't even know. You know, they wanted to see what was going on. It was crazy. You know.
I remember that.
Remember the push-up contest?
As Archie Bunker said, those were the days. Time to go, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. G. You'll let us know when the the Jumbo Light cookies are out. Remember, guys, if you want to submit your
contest,
calm down. You want
the contest, the RxMuscle vest, right?
You want to get your commercials in, 20-second commercials on Mr. Potts Jumbo Palumbo cookies, $1,000 first prize, year supply of Mr. Potts cookies, plus the top 10 will also get gift baskets. You got to send your submissions to huge285@AOL.com. That's my email. I'm Dave Palumbo for John Romano. We'll see you next week.
Woo! Woo!
I forgot how drained I get after these shows, John.